Coming up on this week's Secrets from a Coach.
I'm intrigued, actually. So this is a bit of a curveball. When you turned up at these events, did you say to people, yeah, well, actually, I've just been made redundant? What, if you did, what response did you get back? Because I'm always fascinated by this.
Some of the biggest wins are the relationships.
Okay.
Some people I hadn't literally spoken to for 10, 15 years, when I put that open to work logo on, just coming out of the woodwork and asking how they can help. Let's meet for coffee. Let's have a chat. Who can I connect you with? And it just shows to me the importance of always, say, being a person of your word. So people do remember you and they want to help you when the chips are down.
Secrets from a Coach. Thrive and maximise your potential in the evolving workplace. Your weekly podcast with Debbie Green of Wishfish and Laura Thompson-Staveley of Phenomenal Training.
Debs.
Law, you all right?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How full is your tank been this week?
Pretty full up to the point where you go, is it going to actually keep going or is it just too heavy to move?
You're running on vapours.
Literally feels like it, yeah.
Well, I don't think you're the only one who's feeling a little bit kind of like you're at the end of your energy bank, which is why we thought that it would be a good idea for this current 4-part mini-series to look at energy reset and refuel, bit of R&R. So last week we looked at how do you keep your stamina for the long run. That is work. And for those of us for whom this isn't our first radio, how do you still have that beginners? Oh, that sounds like an interesting transformation program, even if it's the 10th time you've kind of been around that block. So if that appeals to you, that was last week's episode. And this one, I'm super excited. We've got a dear, dear friend of mine who was in conversation with you. And we're going to hear from Zoe, so I know you'll tee her up in a moment. But we thought it'd be really interesting to hear, not only from someone who personally has been through an unexpected redundancy, but also actually is in the industry of recruitment, because actually her perspective of what it means from a candidate perspective to pull yourself together, reset your motivation. If you've had a bit of a knockback and a setback, how do you do it? And I can't wait to hear that conversation with you.
Yeah, it was such a good conversation, and it was right up my street as well, because as you'll get to hear, Laura, she was talking about purpose and values and how important that is and finding the reason why you're on this planet. So shall we take a listen? Hello, everyone. As you know, Laura and I have been talking this month in particular about that reset, refueling and getting your motivation back, because it's super, super, super hard to be able to do that, especially when you're faced by life's challenges and what's going on around you. So joining us today, I am delighted, is Zoe Lewis, who's going to introduce herself properly to us in a moment. So you'll get to hear her and find out a bit more about her. But she's joining us as somebody who truly knows what it means to connect people with purpose, including herself. And she's going to share that with us. With over 25 years in the recruitment world, that's amazing. Zoe's mastered the art of spotting talent, nurturing relationships and creating brilliant fits between people and organisations. From the Home Office, Ministry of Justice, through to Arsenal Football Club, somebody had to do that, and Samsung. So welcome, Zoe. I'm so delighted you could join us. So give our listeners a bit more. Thank you. Give our listeners a bit more about you and your background.
Okay, absolutely delighted to. So many years ago, degree in psychology, thought I would go into the criminal side and ended up working as a special constable for the Metropolitan Police for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Early on, I decided I didn't want to do that full time. So like a lot of people do, just stumbled into the crazy world of recruitment and made it a career. And what a blessing that has been. I absolutely love it. It's the opportunity to help people find work, meaningful work, and also help clients who need to solve their business problems. So I've been doing that now for 26 years, focusing in sort of project management and IT space. Historically looking predominantly at the public sector. and obviously some of the large government departments that you mentioned there. And I absolutely love it. It's brilliant fun.
Oh, it sounds like it. I bet it brings all sorts of different things to the party, and you having to think about getting up every day, being motivated to do it, and then what happens when the motivation disappears or it is harder. So talk me through, I suppose, when your motivation feels low or has been low, what were sort of the first things you noticed about that? And I suppose, how do you know when you're absolutely running on empty because of something that's happened? Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I think in my previous life, when I worked for a large consultancy, I forced myself sometimes to be optimistic and positive and motivated because I had a team that were depending on me to be such. And I think as a leader, you need to maybe sometimes put that smiley face on when perhaps you're not necessarily feeling it inside. Yeah. So I think perhaps when I wasn't feeling motivated, some of the things that I would notice in myself would be like a low energy levels. I guess a bit of a lack of purpose, a lack of direction. I wouldn't be going to the gym and probably overindulging in food and alcoholic beverages and generally perhaps not taking care of myself and perhaps being as engaged with friends and social as possible. I think that's probably some of the main factors.
And I suppose in the work that you've done, and you've seen many people come through the door looking for new jobs, new opportunities, what do you notice in other people, especially those people that, certainly what we see sometimes, they've gone for 1,000,001 interviews, they're really struggling to find the next job. And you can feel that energy, can't you, just be sapped out of them? What do you see?
Lack thereof energy, and it says that lack of purpose, and sometimes it comes down to an intrinsic sort of lack of self-belief and self-worth because they've had the stuffing knocked out of them because it's constant rejection after rejection.
You've mentioned there purpose. You've mentioned that a few times, and it's like music to my ears. You have to know why you've been put on this planet, right?
100%.
And you have to find it. So I'm going to ask you, what is your purpose, and how did you go about finding it?
Most certainly. I genuinely believe that my purpose in life is to spread joy. And that very much ties in with the company, the company that I set up at the start of the year, AgileSource, and our logo, which is 2 magpies, and that is 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy. Yeah. Because I think it's so important to have a purpose and to actually want to help people find work, because again the impact of that is it gives them purpose. It allows them to pay their bills, to look after their children, to go on holidays and so on and so forth, and also to continue learning and involve themselves to the next opportunity as well. So purpose is something I feel very passionate about, and I just really want to help people understand what their purpose is. So I think for me, and we'll again talk about this a bit later on, when I was in a bit of a dark place this time last year, I wanted to realign myself with my values. I just took a blank piece of paper and I wrote down, what do I want to be famous for? Fast forward to the end of my life, what is I'm going to look back on and reflect and think, do you know what? That made me so happy. It brought me so much joy. And again, it's what do you do that makes you feel alive? Makes you feel in that state of flow. And a large part of that for me is helping others. And I think probably I hadn't realised until I was made redundant the importance of recruitment and actually really helping people to find work and purpose and joy.
And joy, I love that, because it's really difficult, isn't it, when you think about what people are going through at the moment. And obviously you mentioned you've been made redundant. I'll get you to tell us a little bit more about that. But we're seeing it more and more, and
everywhere.
It's just
absolutely.
So scary, isn't it, for some people?
It's scary.
They've never faced it.
So when it happened to me at the start of the year, everyone was open to work, logos. It was just cluttered. Everyone on LinkedIn. It felt like the world was looking for new work and new opportunities. And obviously there's advantages, especially for recruiters, of having that logo, looking for opportunities out there as well. But at the same time, it can be overwhelming when you feel that so many people are in the same boat as you and looking for work. And obviously there's only a certain number of jobs out there too.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you stand out as well? I think
yeah. How do you stand out? And I suppose that's a really good question, because obviously in the work that, Laura and I do, we obviously have people come and approach us and say, I'm thinking of changing my career, or the company is going through an organizational structure. And they go, but I don't know where to begin. And, we signpost them to people. But I think what you mentioned about just taking a moment and just stopping and thinking about what is your next move look like. Yeah. In your roles, certainly within the 25 years of recruitment, how have you helped people navigate their way towards maybe not their dream job, but certainly a job that it brings them some level of joy and happiness? How have you helped them?
Totally. Well, I think, first of all, it's about forming a relationship with the person that you're trying to help, so you can really understand what motivates them, what drives them, where do they want to be. And again, everybody is motivated by so many different factors. And sometimes it's really good to make people think about what those factors are and where do they want to be in 5 years, 10 years, when they want to retire. And then you can sort of drill down another level and find out, again, what type of work and why do they want to be doing that type of work.
What advice would you give to others to start to look at that? You mentioned you looked at your own values. You sat down with a blank piece of paper and went, what do I want to be? Where do I want to be? What's important for me? But some people don't want to go and explore that, do they? They find it a bit, well, I got told once it's a bit woo-woo. And just go, okay, tell me more.
Fair enough. I've always been a massive believer and advocate of having sort of coaches and mentors in life as well. So when I found myself in my situation last year, really fortunate to have a number of people to talk to just about the art of the possible. Yeah. What should I, what could I do next in Zoe 2.0.
So when you got made redundant, I suppose some people know that's coming, right? I mean, I've been made redundant in my whole career about 11 times, hence I went out on my own because I thought, yes, it was back in the noughties and the early 90s where it was just, it was very different. Whereas now I think, I think I'd be unemployable. So, but now I just think, okay, it's a stage we go through, and I think more and more people are going to unfortunately experience it as some form. So when it happened to you, was that, did you know it was coming? Was it a complete blindsid you? Right.
I was blindsided. Yeah. I'd worked for the consultancy for 15 years. Right. Been intrinsic in its sort of growth. And I considered myself to be needed or indispensable for the future as well. And I clearly was wrong. And you know what? If you'd asked me at that moment in time when I had that tap on the shoulder, my world collapsed. It literally fell apart. Overnight, I went from being a confident, self-assured person to not wanting to get out of bed. That's hard. It was the fear of the future, as you say, that loss of purpose. Yeah. I just generally didn't know what to do. I felt embarrassed. I felt a bit of a failure, if I'm totally honest. Yes. And I couldn't really talk about it without getting really upset. Yeah. I would say it was a dark place. Yeah. But what I did, that happened to me on a Monday, and then I'd been booked to go to a networking event the following Thursday, and I did not want to go. I did not want to get out of bed. However, I forced myself. Good. I paid for it, so I thought I really should go.
Yes, I'm going to go, yeah.
Do you know what? It was an absolute blessing because I turned up. It was an all-female networking event, and I walked into the room and they say, well, what we do is we go around and we ask everybody 2 questions. Hi, how you doing? How can I help you? How can you help me?
Nice.
And that was really, really quite useful because, again, it's not just you going around talking about who you are, but it's about seeing how you can help other people with your network, the skills and the experience, the history that you've got. Yes. And I think I didn't see it at the time, but that was the start of sort of the pivot of, you've got the change curve, haven't you? And I guess I was in that,
the lovely change curve,
that denial and anger. Right. There was anger. And I'm not an angry person, so I didn't want to be angry, but I felt myself a bit angry. So I had to nip that in the bud. And then it's the sadness and the fear about the future and what you're going to do. But then there comes a point, and for me, it took a good few weeks, if not a couple of months, to sort of reach that level of acceptance. Okay, this has happened. I need to deal with it. I need to move on. What am I going to do? I think being kind to yourself is super important.
Yes.
So for me, I just gave myself a couple of weeks just out, just spending time with family and friends, doing fun stuff, taking the dogs for walks in the forest. Because again, that's when I felt calm and happy. And then, because it was Christmas time as well. So it wasn't
really
the
perfect
best time.
timing.
Not the best time.
Perfect timing.
So I was like, right, just take some time out. And then in the new year, new you, and let's just see what it's going to bring. And I think a large element of that is just faith, and it's sort of trusting the universe. And a number of really bizarre things happened to me. As an example, somebody I hadn't spoken to in 15 years contacted me out the blue when I was in my dark place and asked me to be part of their charity board.
Oh, wow.
And again, that in itself, the fact that somebody's like, oh, we want Zoe to do this, helped me get out of that sort of spiral of negativity and think, okay,
of course.
Do you know what? There are young people out there. There's a Charities Action for Children.
Right.
There's a lot of young people out there in poverty. Look, I don't deserve to sit here and feel sorry for myself. And that goes back to my gratitude attitude lists that I would also write to try and get me out of my negative spiral. And I wanted to be able to give back and help people. And obviously in order to do that, I realised that I needed to have a job, to have the money to be able to help people as well.
Yes.
So I think you sort of have this realisation at some point, and again, it can take a little while to get there, that, you've got to dust yourself off. Don't play the victim, because it is really easy to do that.
It's easy. Yeah, it is.
Easy, like, woe is me, I've been made redundant.
I've been done to. Yeah.
Exactly. And I heard a lovely phrase the other day, which really resonated, which was, don't see it as a setback, see it as a set up.
Yes, nice.
And absolutely, as I look back now on the last year, I mean, I will use the word blessing. The redundancy for me now is an absolute blessing, because I've got the freedom, autonomy. And don't get me wrong, it's very hard work at the moment, but I can see that in the future, there's the potential for great things. And having the opportunity to spend my time with amazing clients I probably wouldn't have talked to had I stayed in the previous organisation. And to be involved in a couple of trustee charity boards, it's just amazing. I feel so much more alive and happier now than I did a year ago when I thought I was in my happy place. It's so weird.
I love that, because I'm always a believer that if you're open to it, it will show itself, 100%. Right?
And trusting the power of the universe.
Yes, absolutely. And I would say trust the process. But you have to be, I believe, in quite a mentally safe, strong, resilient space to even notice these opportunities. So the fact that you went, I'm going to that networking event, I've paid for it, I'm going. Do you remember back as to what was it? Just the fact you paid and I was going to go and not lose my money, or was it something else?
Not at all. It was the fact that I probably subconsciously realised that I just can't sit around and feel sorry for myself.
Got you.
And you just never know who you're going to meet in these events.
True. Yeah.
And so, as painful as it was at the time, and I remember walking to that meeting almost crying because I was so scared to go in the room because my identity had gone. 4 days before, I'd been, I'm Zoe, the director, blah, blah.
Yes.
But now I'm going in, Zoe who's just been made redundant. I don't have a job.
Yeah.
And that job is such a large part of your identity.
It is.
Especially when you're going to networking events.
Yes, because everybody wants to be able to put you somewhere, don't they? And
they want to pigeonhole you somewhere.
And and I'm intrigued actually. So this is a bit of a curveball. When you turned up at these events, did you say to people, actually I've just been made redundant? What if you did? What response did you get back? Because I'm always fascinated by this.
I most certainly did. Because again, there's no point being anything other than authentic in yourself.
Yes.
Some people looked a little bit shocked and didn't know what to say. There's that bit of pity. But I think also there was, how can I help you? Is there anything I can do to help you?
Nice.
I don't know if it's just because it's a room full of women, but there was it felt that real buzz and that desire to want to help a sister.
Yes.
get out of this situation.
Being able to have that connection, people around you, even if you could, because some people get sent across the other side of the world and get made redundant, and then what do? Do they come back? Do they stay?
It's not being afraid to ask for help. So some people just find it really difficult to do that. And I think there are times in life, and that's a great example of one, where you just got to ask for help, because you just don't know who knows who and who knows what, and just be open to opportunities and possibilities.
Because somebody somewhere will always connect you with somebody, and I love that. I love the power of connection, because I was mentioned, made redundant 11 times, but every time, it was a connection that was made that when I eventually set up on, my own and went out on our own, it was easy to have that extended network, and people move around. And I think it is an opportunity.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
You never know when, but the relationships are key, as you mentioned right up front. What I want to ask, Zoe, is around a little bit around boundaries and burnout, because there is so much talk around boundaries at the moment, and looking after yourself and overwhelm. And I think when you're in a position where you're lacking in motivation, you haven't got that energy, or on the flip side, you've completely pivoted and set up on your own, that brings its whole other realm of difficulties. You could be working 24/7 if you wanted. But I suppose, what role do you see boundaries playing in keeping motivation sustainable?
I think boundaries are a really important factor. And I think especially in the day and age in which we live, for me, having digital detox boundaries is really important, because we see so many people just glued to their phones all the time. And I think, I personally think that's not massively healthy. So, having time out and away from social media and phones, I think, is really important. That's an important boundary. And it's about, again, going back to what makes you the best version of yourself. And for me, what reduces my cortisol levels and those endorphins going, it's all the standard stuff. It's the eating healthily, it's not drinking too much, it's going to the gym. So I guess it's making sure that you have time for you and putting yourself first, because again, in society sometimes we're taught not to do that. But I've certainly learned in the last year the importance of looking after myself. And if I'm looking after myself, then I can be more of service to other people.
Yeah, very true. And that brings me so nicely onto, I looked at obviously your post that you put out. I think it was a couple of days ago, actually, but it just resonated. And I just wanted to get you said, having just turned to the big 50, I love it. You'd share some of your life lessons in that wonderful world that recruitment has told you. And when I looked down some of this list, I mean, you've got an awesome list, and we're signpost people to you on LinkedIn, but it was just some of the things that jumped out that I thought, actually, they're just as relevant, aren't they, in whatever it is you're doing. So if that's okay with you, are you okay if I pick a couple and ask you to expand on them?
Absolutely, be delighted to.
The very first one you put up here was, always keep your word. If you can't do it, don't say it. So where did that lesson come from?
I think for me, it's about trust. And I used to say this to my team all the time: trust is a must. If you're going to commit to something, you've got to do, to the best of your ability, everything you can to follow through on that. If for any reason you can't do it, just be totally honest from the offset and say, I'll do my best, but realistically, that's not going to happen. Because I think at the end of the day, it's the old adage, you're only really as good as your words. And I think having trust and integrity in the current, any day, at any age really, is really fundamentally important. Not just for your self-worth, but again, for the people that you associate with as well. So,
and that links in, because you wrote here, have integrity, never sacrifice it. So
definitely not.
That's easier said than done for some.
Of course it is.
So how do you ensure that you maintain that? Or if you're working with a client, say, who's looking for a role, and integrity is super important to them, but they're in that bit of a crossroads as to, well, should I go for that job? It doesn't quite fit my values or my purpose. How do you help them navigate that?
Very good question. I think challenging people is really healthy. And just asking, I guess, what could be perceived as awkward or difficult questions, which in turn helps individuals really think about what it is that they stand for and what they want. I know as an example, there's one of my friends who's got his own recruitment organisation who won't deal with tobacco organisations because that's very much part of his self-belief. And they say, yeah, absolutely. But again, it's knowing who you are and what you stand for. Is important, which is why that soul searching exercise sometimes is so fundamentally important.
Yeah, and I think you're right, and you mentioned this earlier, but practice gratitude. There is always so much to be grateful for, isn't there?
Again, the gratitude attitude, I call it. It's scientifically proven that when you focus on the positive and the good things in your life, those endorphins, those chemicals in your brain are being released, which then in itself it makes you feel better and more self-assured and more self-confident. And no matter how dark things are in your life, there is always something to be grateful for. Even if it's grateful for sight or the ability to meet with somebody, to talk to somebody, to listen, to feel. There's so many basic human interactions that we can have that we've got to be so thankful for. So I used to challenge my team once a month we had a blank piece of paper in our Monday morning meetings, and as the first person who could write 50 things to be grateful for.
Oh my God, amazing.
I know, but by sort of challenging and focusing on things that you've got to be grateful for, then it makes the things that you haven't got to be grateful for less significant and important, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think also, as you said, it reframes your mindset, doesn't it, towards looking towards opportunity or the optimism, as you mentioned. It's so important, isn't it? Because it's really, hard to get motivated if you're feeling like, as you said earlier, right in that valley of despair, can't get out of it, you're swimming around in it. And if that's where you're living, that's super hard, isn't it?
It is. And again, just sort of flipping back to when I was in that place, and the things that I did as well. I would put on very loud, when I was at the gym, really positive music. Really positive songs that just sort of lifted me up. A lot of songs from musicals, actually.
They're the best.
They are. They're amazing. Which, again, it's about just giving that little bit of a kick. Sometimes, and affirmations. I would write down and I repeat affirmations every day, and I did find that really helped me.
What go-to energies, if you're going to source it a refill, if you're going to fill yourself back up again, what would be your refueling rituals now?
I cannot get more motivated than taking my dogs for a walk to the forest. I just find that one of the most calming and ability to sort of reconnect with myself. Things that I can do, and I again feel very blessed to be able to do that with my fur babies.
That's so cool. Animals are such a a gift, aren't they? Really?
Totally. I many days just lying in bed, stroking the dogs, and just again being grateful for the opportunity to do that.
And that sort of fits into where you're at now. So when you say, you've said you've been set up, with your organisation, AgileSource, for a year now. So how have you found?
10. So looking forward to the year anniversary.
Come on, you can do that. What have you found have been, I suppose, the biggest wins for you?
Some of the biggest wins are the relationships. Some people I hadn't literally spoken to for 10, 15 years, when I put that open to work logo on, just coming out of the woodwork and asking how they can help. Let's meet for coffee. Let's have a chat. Who can I connect you with? And it just shows me the importance of always, say, being a person of your word. So people do remember you and they want to help you when the chips are down.
I love that. So, I mean, we could chat about this all day because, I mean, you're just ticking every
all week, probably.
Yes, we could. Purpose, definitely with you on that. Values, definitely with you on that. Live each day as if it was your last, definitely with you. Trust the process. It's always out there. I can hear, I'm going, oh my God, Laura would be putting tattoos on herself next, rather than give them to me.
Brilliant.
So that would be quite funny. People would pay to watch that. But
I'm sure they would. Good money.
I suppose my final question to you, if that's all right, Zoe, is what one piece of advice would you give to your younger self, knowing what you now know, when it comes to reclaiming your motivation when the tank does feel empty?
I think the advice I give to my younger self is always keep that fundamental self-belief in yourself. Don't let the world or anybody else chip away at it. Do what makes you happy, what brings you joy. I mean, life really is short, but when you do sort of feel yourself start to dip on the motivation levels, be cognizant of it. Be kind to yourself, because sometimes it's okay not to be okay, and that's absolutely fine. But just think about what you can do to take yourself out of that valley, onto the next mountain, and make sure you've got a really good supportive network around you. Try and learn new skills as well, because I think that's quite important in terms of evolving as a human being. And
going from there.
Just look for the joy in absolutely every single day. Look for the joy in the small things. I mean, I was walking the dogs this morning, and there was a beautiful robin just sat on the fence. And it's just like, I mean, that is just absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
And it also reminds me of Christmas, which is my favourite time of the year.
It's mine too. It's not long.
I know.
Something like 52 sleeps or something. I can't remember exactly.
We'll roll with that. It sounds good.
Yeah, we'll go with that. It might not be, but let's go with that anyway. It's not long. That's all we can do. But Zoe, how do people reach out to you? Firstly, from I suppose, having been in the position of you have been made redundant, you were blindsided by it. And so some people like to connect because they go, oh my God, if you've got through it and you are now doing what you're doing, how do people find you?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm Zoe Lewis at AgileSource on LinkedIn. So really happy to connect with anybody. And again, really happy to meet anybody who wants to meet for a coffee or a glass of Prosecco and just chat. And if I can be of help, I've got a massive network. If I can connect to anybody, then be absolutely delighted to do that.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And we'll make sure everything gets put out so people can connect with you, because I just think it's so important, isn't it? Is that, the purpose you have, the passion that you have, it's coming through all of the time. And if that's how you are, you will just infect people with that and give them the self-belief to go, you can do it. And I think that's the beauty of having these conversations, isn't it? Is to go, 100%. I've been where you've been, and look, and you can, but having that extra support along the way, I think, is really important.
Totally. I mean, I was absolutely blessed to be surrounded by love and support, which helped me rebuild my self-belief levels.
Brilliant.
And confidence. So, be delighted to pay that forward in any way that I can.
Oh, well, we'll make sure people can find you. But I just want to say thank you for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I'm very grateful that you've taken the time out to chat with us. It's something we've been wanting to do. And Laura got me ready. So I'm so happy she sorted me out.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an absolute privilege.
No worries. Thanks, Zoe. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. So, Laura, what do you reckon?
Do you know, I was reflecting as I was listening. We stumbled into each other's lives. I mean, I keep thinking she's a new friend, but actually it was 18 years ago. That's a sign of getting old.
Oh, wow. It is. Yeah, that is.
But we stumbled into each other's lives back in 2008 when I had a blip in my career at that point. So the company I was working for got unexpectedly put into administration. So it was when the recession was starting to kick off in 2008, 2009. And we kind of met each other because the owner company she was part of at the time. And we just hit it off. So actually it's quite poignant to listen to her now talking about phoenixing herself from the ashes and setting up on her own, because actually that's where I was at 18 years ago. So it's it's brilliant to hear. And
it's
of course,
mad, isn't it?
Debs, she's given more for your tattoo collection. Trust is a must.
Do you like that? Trust is a must, yeah.
The attitude of gratitude.
Yeah. Which we've spoken about. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, my all-time favourite Zoe phrase is I'm large and in charge, which I always thought was fantastic. But in terms of linking to this episode focus, I thought it was brilliant.
We were thinking you might be able to get maybe a couple if you picked up on some of those, like have integrity, never sacrifice it. That's quite cool as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really. She was amazing to speak to, wasn't she?
Yeah. And I really hope if that's resonated with you or someone someone that you know in your life with whom has had a bit of a perceived setback in a redundancy, or things haven't quite gone to plan. You're never too old to sort of start again and start afresh. And I just thought that was a really empowering listen. And one of my favourite phrases at the moment that I keep finding myself referring to is, when one door closes, a window opens, and you're never quite sure. It's not the end of the storyline sometimes, those setbacks. In fact, it could be the beginning to something else. So my share the secret would be this week, Debs, and it'd be great then to end on your call to action, is if you've got a friend, either a colleague or a friend or both, who you think this would be useful for, get them to listen to this. And to hear it from a recruiter as well, I think is even more interesting. What's your call to action?
Oh, there were so many actually when I was listening to her. But I think on reflection, my call to action is definitely connect back with who you truly are, and just set your tone towards that. That's the way you're going to head because of that. So I would definitely have my call to action is, take a moment to look at, who am I? Who am I now, and what can I bring, and what are my values? Definitely. And then just go forward with that. Trust the process.
Fantastic. Now, Debs, you mentioned trust. I'm super looking forward to next week's episode. So the third in our 4-part focus, looking at energy, refuel and reset. We've looked at how to keep endurance in the long run, how to handle setback and to reclaim motivation, maybe if the self-belief tank is a bit empty. So thanks, Zoe. And next week, we're going to be looking at, what does it mean to create a psychologically safe space? So from an energy point of view, we feel like we belong. So I know it's such a hot topic, really key for a lot of our collective clients at the moment, that concept of psychological safety and belonging. So I'm really looking forward to that. In the meantime,
me too.
Have a tank-filled glorious week, Debs.
Thank you very much, Law. You too. And make sure you don't empty out. That's what I would say. Do not empty.
Debs, I'm large and in charge. I've got an attitude of gratitude. Bring it on.
I love it. Bring it on. Yeah. Well, I will see you next week, Law.
I'll see you next week, Debs. Love you.
All right. Love you. Bye.
We hope you've enjoyed this podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Email us at contact@secretsfromacoach.com or follow us on Insta or Facebook. If you're a Spotify listener, give us a rating, as it's easier for people to find us. And if you want to know more, visit our website, www.secretsfromacoach.com, and sign up for our newsletter, here to cheer you on and help you thrive in the ever-changing world of work.